this empire mentality.
Today,
This
empire mentality. We doing something. One of Joe Rogan's podcasts. Talking about the U.S. police and everybody and how it can get you in big trouble when it comes to trying to police everybody, put everybody under the same system. So let's see what he's talking about. Let's see what he got to say.
this mentality that even if something is bad is happening around the world, well, then we must go and stop it. And you're like, I heard people talking about this with the protests going on in Iran right now. We have to support these people who want freedom. And you're like, dude, this country was just locked down for like a year and a half. We were in lockdowns. Maybe we're not in the position to start exporting freedom around the world. Why don't we start at home? Let's try to make this a free country. Let's work toward that. And, paradoxically, every time we go to expand freedom around the world, we get less and less freedom here. And then we don't end up giving any freedom there. It's like, we got to go bring freedom.
Have we ever brought freedom anywhere?
That's true. Like what they're trying to do is they're trying to put everybody under this democracy that we're supposed to be under. As you can see, I mean, even with elections, a lot of people know that, they are basically, they already lobby to get what they want. So no one actually has a true connection with another person, and they actually agree on something. Basically, you are having lobbyists throw parties. You're having them, give a lot of money to get votes and stuff swayed the way that they want to, even though the person who is swaying the government to do certain things might not agree with it. It's all about the money. As long as their freedom is good, as long as, they get to do what they want and no one gets in their way, they have no issue pushing through legislation that they don't agree with. And what they're trying to do is push that all around the world. And what they say is the more people that you have to control, the more policing you have to do. So they need to put all these little programs in place for every country that they take over, just like they're adding to our country. And if you see the U.S. and if you see they're practicing doing some of this stuff already in California, that's the main thing people don't understand. Like they're already practicing totalitarianism inside the U.S. They're just doing it in different states that agree with it, and a lot of that has to do with the Democratic Party right now making certain places like Chicago and like California agree with these totalitarianism ways. So see what else he's talking about.
Freedom anywhere where it's super successful?
I mean, you could argue that in post-World War II, Japan and Germany, but by the way, that also came with the price tag of slaughtering their civilian population. It's not as if that just went easy.
Stop right there, slaughtering the population. And I've talked about this in previous videos, and also just the people randomly who are kind of into politics, that people are pawns. Like you wonder why, people are bombing people in other countries. It's because people are pawns. And, if you're if let's say, if Biden is our leader, not my leader, but if Biden is our leader, the way to he needs the approval of the people, of the majority of the people. And let's say Russia starts bombing the U.S. or whatever, they are just gonna target people because they know that we're not gonna agree with Biden if he just lets Putin bomb people in the U.S. because Biden is supposed to be our leader. So a lot of people, you have to really look at that. People are pawns. And a lot of time the politicians are, of course, the the knight, and of course you got the queen, you got the king. Those are the pieces that we're supposed to protect. So he has the people who's going to protect him, and then Biden has the people who's going to protect him. Then he has who the people are closest to him, the politicians and stuff like that. And then he has us, the regular civilization, which Russell Brand always talking about, ordinary people. We are the pawns of the government, just in case you didn't know.
But, then if you look at the war on terrorism, I mean, we went to spread freedom to the Middle East, but that comes with the price tag of the Patriot Act and the Department of Homeland Security and, all of this stuff. And then, by the way, we didn't bring any freedom there either. So,
and I think
whoopsie.
that what we were saying earlier about the way the internet has kind of changed the way people view governments and people view information and people have access. We're more informed, maybe more confused in a lot of ways than ever before. But I think mind reading is the next one.
Maybe.
I think when that happens, we're fucked. We're fucked for a while because there's going to be mad chaos where people try to make sense of people's real thoughts and real intentions and the real mechanisms behind everything that runs the world. All of our money, our government, the mindsets of people that are just trying to acquire money and how insane that is. How insane is just the pursuit of only numbers. That's it. The constant pursuit of numbers and objects.
Well, there's also there's this thing where there's like the pursuit of money is almost like I break it up into like two categories where there's a lot of people pursuing money, but a lot of people are pursuing money like private citizens, like in the marketplace, are like, even if they're really trying to pursue money, basically the only way they can get it is like by offering a product to people and see if they want it.
Right.
Which is something that I do, offer products, and yeah, we're just trying to get a little bit of money to have a good living, a lot of money actually, have a good living.
It's like, if you want this, if you're willing to buy this, then I can make money off of that. But you only buy it if you think like, well, I would like to have that. I value that. And then there are these people who are connected to the government who are basically in rigged games where they've stacked the deck against regular people where you essentially have to give them money. You don't have a choice. And so like and those people are just like, that's a win-lose relationship, not like a win-win relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, I really think the only hope, like I've said this to you before, but I think the only hope for America is some form of liberty, some form of libertarianism. Like, we've just gone way too much in the other direction of like the government having way too much power and running everybody's lives. And the only way to save this thing, to cool off the culture war, to stop drowning the next generation in debt and destroying our currency and all of this stuff, is to just there's got to be some form of decentralized.
The thing is, the more money that they siphon from people, the more control that they have. It's like the more they put you in debt, the more control they have over you. You kind of just stuck with the government. And a lot of people don't know that. Even when it comes to business, it's like, business loans and stuff like that. A lot of people just don't understand that once you get in bed with the government, there's no getting out without some damage. You're going to lose an arm. You're going to lose a leg. Like, something's going to happen. And, lighten up on freedom that ain't the direction they want to go in.
Centralization, limiting of the power of government, rolling back some of these institutions. And the only way to do that is to get enough people to demand it, and then enough powerful people to support that. Get enough powerful people on board with this, and enough popular support to just be like, okay, there's real will.
The problem is, once the game is rigged, it's hard to get people to go back to normal.
It is.
They've had a rigged game for a long time. To open it up to an ethical,
hundreds of years,
logical, reasonable playing field at this point in the game, where it's really locked down. And
well, you mean so from the
extract?
So you're saying for those special interests who have this game rigged, right? So I think what it's almost got to be is some combination of where there's enough of the people who are so angry and are just demanding their freedom, and that this rigged game be rolled back, and then it's almost kind of they're like, look, you got away with this for a long time, but you're going to meet something, you're going to meet a very bad fate if you can.
And what's crazy is so many people can overthrow any and everything. There's way more of us to influence the government than it is the government to influence us. So what they do is they use these little, programs what do you call it? People get food stamps or whatever. They use programs like that in order to capture people. So they want to make sure that people don't get ahead. They want to make sure you stay in debt. So you need these programs to feed your family. And then they use that to get your votes, because they be like, oh, the next person isn't going to give you, they're going to cut the food stamp. They're going to cut EBT off. And they're going to leave it up to you to, fend for yourself or whatever, which of course is absolutely not true. want to do is reduce the amount of people that's on there and get people into some type of work. They want to keep people from really just sitting there collecting, aid for the rest of their life. They want people to kind of, be on their own if they can. They're never gonna like just get rid of a program that helps people. So usually it's about 10% of the population is usually what needs it. We got 390 something million people. So it's 39 million people that might need aid. So the goal is to, get as close to just 10% as possible. That's something that a lot of people don't know, but we do have all the power. But they use programs like that to get millions and millions of people to sway in the direction like the Democrats. They always talking about aid for this, aid for that, aid for this, where you won't have to do anything. The thing is, you don't want that. You don't want to be lazy, or you don't want to be taking money from people just because someone has put in more work than you. And even if they haven't put in more work than you, if they create jobs for other people, they've already put in more work because they created a job for somebody who is passionate about that job, if they are passionate about that job, to make more money to feed multiple people. So can you kind of follow that? Entrepreneurs make jobs so they can have multiple employees, so those multiple employees can feed multiple people. And that's something that a lot of people forget. Those people are rich because they created value to multiple people and multiple families. So we have all the power, just to let you know.
If you continue on this path.
Threats.
Well, I don't want there to be violence. You'd much rather be like, hey, look, take this deal. Cut your losses now. Like, you did this. You got away with it for a long time. Go away. Stop doing it. Because look how angry you're going to make these people if you continue ripping them off. But you always want a peaceful solution to all of this stuff. But there's got to be, look, I'll say the thing that to me is like the silver lining, the note of optimism, is that there really is something important about people waking up. There's a reason why they work so hard to propagandize people. There's a reason why they flipped out on you so much for having just like Dr. Malone and people like that on your show. They're really concerned about that. They're really concerned that you might talk to people and that they might hear from this expert and they might believe him.
Yep, and that's one of the biggest things is when people like Joe Rogan have like millions and millions of people who he can influence. That's what they have to. That's what they need, like government programs to do. They give free food, free money to people. They use that in order to influence people to come with them. What Joe Rogan is doing is he's talking to people and getting the truth, or getting not always the truth, but getting as accurate as possible information. Him and also it was Russell Brand, who subscribers have just like slowed down a lot, and of course I bet it's because of the YouTube algorithm. He's pushing people towards what's that other website that's like YouTube where they have freedom of speech, but he is pushing it towards Rumble. There we go, Rumble. So he's pushing it towards Rumble. Now these people are millions and millions of people. What they're basically they're educating people to let people know that this is what the government is doing to you. They have you voting for them because of this, but in actuality, they want control over you. They want you to stay suffering where you are. So you don't have the ability to, fend for yourself. Some people okay with that. I'm going to hope and pray that the majority is not. So we're going to do some more videos like this, stuff on politics, stuff on, I want to do like some videos on aliens and see what people think about that. Some of the scary videos, scary movies. We're going to talk about all that stuff. So let me close this down and we're going to talk later.